Today is January 20th, and it was my conception day. My father, 75 years ago today, was let out of the army and he came home. He was already married to my mother, and they had relations that night. And 9 months later, I came out, 17th of October. But today was my conception day, so I consider myself starting from then. In a certain sense, I started 72 days before that, in the brain of my father, where the sexual semen comes out 72 days later from the bris area. And this is what I got this morning. I've been doing circles, and the circles I've been doing, shoulder and circle exercises, and I was into Netzach and Hod this morning, because Netzach and Hod are the two testes and the two hips, and they move the bris, so to speak. It's the two external lines that move the center line. You see? The right and left have to be in balance for the center to move. And that's in every modality. Kundalini for Sushumna. And so I'm moving these Netzach and Hod, and then I realize that Netzach and Hod, this is what Yaakov had when he turned into Yisrael, this change of dimensionality, of name. And what had occurred, the Malach, whoever it was, Mikael, as far as I know, reached over and touched the left thigh of Yaakov. And so I'm thinking to myself, the left side had a bris, so to speak, a hay, from the het. And it changed him from Yaakov, which means heel, to head. And he had a dimensionality change. And this dimensionality change was the change from the het, it's a bris, into a hay. And this occurs all the time that's the whole deal. On the 8th day, the 8th day, which is a het, is changed into a hay. You take 3 dimensions of it off. The Mila, the Priya, and the Motzitza Hadam. And, well, that's what occurs. Then, and this is what, you're always long-winded, and this is what occurred to me here now, that the movement of the bris comes from Netzach and Hod, and then I'm looking at it, and I see that the last letter of Netzach, the last letter of Netzach is a het, and that's the right side. And the Melach's right side reached over into the left side, and that changed into a hay. So the het, the next letter when we go to Hod, turns into a hay. Whoa, I say. And then I realized something else. I looked at the other things. The word Chokmah has a het. Forget about the Hay and Chokmah. That's a whole other story, a very deep story, which I'll say it another time. Has a het, and the last letter of Bina is a Hay. And then I look down the line again. These are the 3 lines. There are 2, the right and left lines. This is the right line. Chokmah. And the second set of parallels is Hesed and Gevurah. And the same thing occurs here. It starts with a het and it ends with a hey. And then we see the Netzach and Hod. There's a het in the right pillar and a hey in the left pillar. And then I realized, whoa! The het is the right pillar. The hey is the left pillar. It's a feminization, obviously. A bris is a feminization. But it's a physicalization. It's a physicalization of the infinite. It's a bringing down into the body. The het, which is the infinite. This infinite, by the way, is made up of Vav Hey, with a connection, Vav Zayin, with a connection to the roof on the left-hand side, the Zayin. And that Zayin has to be cut, turned into a Vav. Anyway, so I say to myself, all three of the right pillar have het on the right side. All three have hey on the left side. So if we take 3 pairs of that, of 13 each, it becomes, 39. And if you really want to know, if I add the extra 5, it becomes 44, and that's dam. Anyway. So now, that's where I am at this morning. And I see this, and it's a physicalization of society. And that's what we got with Yisrael. Instead of being he became a head to the tail. So that's what came to me today. And how we know this was a bracha for me. This morning we had snow. Snow is sheleg, 333. And 333 is the first letters of the Shema plus the Aleph that's held in front of the eyes. And so that's 333, that's sheleg, and that means that the sins will turn from red to white. And this all comes on my conception day. And these are very deep things. And I've entered the circular Sephirots. And as I spin on my Netzach and Hod, the 2 lines are beautiful, but there's a spiraling spin of the circular, even if it's just the 2 surrounding lights of the Chaya and Yehida, which is 60, by the way. And so, there's some interesting stuff here. That the middle letters of the first 3 Sephirah, of not the first 3 Sephirah, but of Chochmah, Bina, and Hesed, all have 60 as middle letters. There's 60 as middle sums. Chochmah has Kaf Mem, that's 60. Bina has Yud Nun, that's 60. And Hesed has Samach, which is 60. And this 60, by the way, is always a combination of Yehida as 37, What did I do here? And Chaya as 23. So Yehida is the fifth aspect of the surrounding light. It's the highest. That's 37, plus the next lowest, which is the higher level. That's 23, that's 60. So those middle letters respond to this 60. And remember, everything is 1 in 60. And so when I'm in the surrounding lights, I'm in the 60 of Ein Sof. And my three pillars of Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, the three pillars of my body, which is an Aleph, sit within this circle. And so when I spiral and circle, I'm entering into these higher surrounding light worlds. And that's where they actually are. Down here in the physical plane with linearity, with linear worlds, quite frankly, in Nefesh, Ruach, and even the Neshama. But if you want to enter into the higher planes of surrounding lights and have them do your work for you, then you have to enter into the Chaya and Yehida. Another interesting thing for me is in my tennis, you know, what I'm trying to do is do a 360-degree consciousness in my shots. If I do just forward, I have 180-degree consciousness. But if I also include the back, what we call the other side, what's the other side? Sitra Akra. If we consider the other side, the Sitra Akra, then we have 360-degree consciousness, and we enter into the spiraling, circulating world. And that's the same way with doing shots, tennis shots. If you feel your back is participating, let me try to do something here. If I feel my back is participating, see, under normal conditions, the old days used to do just linear, you know, racket back, through linear. Now you do circular, see? Circular. But not only that, especially on the backhand, two-handed backhand really gets the backside in. And so the real secret is to spiral. So you need the two sides, the Chokmah and the right pillar and left pillar, to spiral so the center pillar moves. And circle world, it's a whole other trip. It's a whole other trip. And yesterday I started doing Dad's. Dad was great at this, all circles. See, circles. Circles. So that's what's happening with me now. On the 20th of January, my conception day.